I think that the best science should be funded, regardless of the topic. That the evaluation of the science, that the funding of the science should be based solely on merit and not on a specific topic, and not from any other considerations, not whom one knows, but the kind of work one does, how good the work is, how well it's published, how well the work is presented. If one tries to fund a certain topic of research, then the risk is that people will try to fit into that but not do the best work that they can in that field. And who knows, if one says that the country's priority is to, say, do research on minerals to help expand the economy as opposed to Alzheimer's disease, which affects aging, I think that's a mistake because we don't know what the future holds. You know, industry in general is declining in the world or maybe shifting to China. Is that where a country like Chile puts its best resources, or does it put its resources into something like biotechnology in the way that a country like Singapore is trying to do? One doesn't know what will pan out the best in the future. What one knows is that if you fund the best people doing the best work, you're far more likely to succeed than funding marginal work. So I would say be open-minded and fund the best people that one can, regardless of their affiliation or connection, but truly focused on objectively evaluating their work and evaluating the work objectively with external advisors who are also unbiased. Keeping this unbiased and merit-driven, I think, is key.
The best thing about the National Institute of Health is that most of the science comes from the bottom up. That is, investigators propose what they want to do, and the group of their peers decide whether it makes sense. It's not perfect, but I still think this way of funding science from the bottom up, either individuals or small groups, brings the best science.
En los Estados Unidos casi todos a través de los institutos de salud nacionales en Estados Unidos. Entonces, claro, es muy grande y dan la oportunidad de bastante dinero, eso es lo bueno. Lo malo es que ya hay política que pasa y a veces hay cierto tipo de research que quieren que uno haga. Entonces sí, ponen bastante dinero en ciertas áreas, esa es una cosa, lo restringen un poco a uno, pero uno tiene el apoyo también del público, porque el público sabe que ellos están contribuyendo hacia la ciencia que uno está haciendo. Entonces, cuando nos han querido recortar los fondos, el público ha dicho, no, nosotros queremos dar dinero para eso. Entonces, uno tiene que pensar de las dos formas.
I understand that Chilean science is still developing very much, and from what I can see, there is really a strong drive towards visualizing cell biological processes. I've seen a lot of nice microscopy, but I'm also certain that Chilean science will do even better if funding improves for the labs here in Chile. I guess in many cases people are restricted by the money they have, and makes it particularly difficult to explore expensive science like mouse models or high-end microscopy that will require a lot of funds. So I hope that Chile will continue to foster science and to support scientists even more than it's doing now.
Well, we have this situation in Germany. We have the so-called DFG, which really supports basic science, but also applied sciences. And this is mainly excellence-driven. And this is very, very important that you have an independent agency to support science. In addition, we have grants given by the government. In German, we call it BMBF, which is the Ministry for Science and Technology and Education. And this is political money. They can support new developments, right? They can initiate new developments, and then this might be very helpful. But at the same time, you need an agency that is independent from the government and that can really support in long terms also basic science, new developments, individual ideas, and this is really important. So I would certainly advise not to bet everything on political money and everything to give everything to the government, and every 4 years or 5 years when you have new elections, there's a new idea and the old things will disappear. This is not very helpful.
Lo del cambio es una hipótesis todavía. Puede que haya una modificación de cierta estructura, pero los cambios más profundos que espera nuestra ciencia todavía están allí. Lo que yo espero es que en ese espacio se abran efectivamente aquellos lugares donde se puede hacer la discusión que todavía Chile no hace. Y esa discusión está en el lado de qué ciencia queremos. ¿Qué ciencia queremos? Y va a ser una discusión larga, compleja, va a tener un abanico de resultados y vamos a tener que ser capaces de discutirla con justamente las herramientas que vienen de la ciencia para poder diseñar de una manera más estratégica esa estructura y echarla a andar de una manera que tenga sentido y no solamente funcione para alimentarse a sí misma. Y ahí creo que estamos en deuda todavía. Eso es lo que yo espero. Y ahí tienen que estar convocados obviamente el mundo de las ciencias, pero también mucho más allá que ellos, y ese es un desafío también.
I think it is very important that Chile realizes the importance of science, and in particular of basic science. In Germany and in other countries, we have ministries of science, but we also have science funding agencies. Usually the science funding agencies fund basic research. And I think this is important because if you really want to understand fundamentally how biology works, then it has to come from basic science. And it's the basic science that will eventually lead to the more applied questions and the more applied strategies. So it is important to have both of these elements in science, and a Ministry of Science certainly is very important to foster science and to support science at the highest political level. But then it's equally important to let scientists do their job, rather than trying to predict what they should study or how a particular angle of science would be particularly suited for Chilean scientists. It has to come from the scientists, and that pledge for supporting the scientists and for establishing a system that allows scientists to look at each other's work.
For decades, we have failed producing drugs that improved survival in malignancies. In the last 6 years, for the most part, solely based on basic research studies in plastic dishes and in mice, the new drugs that allow for 30–40% survival in late-stage cancer have grown out of basic science investments. And so you can't argue any longer that investing in basic science doesn't lead to profound revolutionary therapies in humans. It does. And for every dollar you spend on science, you'll save more than $10 in the clinic.
Of course, it's good to interact with people who have political ideas where you could get more enthusiasm for science, and to bring those two groups together, as we did in California for stem cell science, where there were patient advocates, there were politicians who wanted to make California strong, and then there were scientists and also business people. And this also worked very well to make grants for people ranging from basic research all the way to help you move into translational research. And I think both ways of funding science can be powerful. But they started in the second example, again with bottom-up science, and as that built into discoveries that could be turned into products for the community, then they started to fund the more practical science building on that. So that also I think has been very successful.